In this video, we're going to be looking at how to use a nested loop in C++, and it's going to be somewhat relating to the assignment that you sent me that time. But let's just go ahead and do this first, and then we will try and do the assignment. Okay, I'm really tired, so uh, okay, we're going to try and create a Python code that a C++ code that tells us to enter the amount of rows we want, enter the amount of columns we want, enter the type of symbol that we want as well. Okay. Um, we're going to be using ints. Okay, for numbers, symbol, columns, and all that. So let us basically start. Okay, we're going to say int rows, add your semicolon, int column, add your semicolon, int symbol, add your semicolon. Okay, it's as simple as that. Why is my indentation all the way over there? Shift tab. Okay, now let us continue. Okay, so the first thing we want that the code is going to tell us is to enter the amount of rows that we want. So in C++, we say std this output this enter 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 amount of rows. Okay, you add your semicolon and you say this is basically for input. Okay, you say std cout is for the output, cin is for the inputs. Basically something I've learned. Then you say cin. The sign changes as well because it's for the inputs. What are we basically trying to input for? We're going to be trying to input for rows. Okay, it's as simple as that. Let's go to the next one. We will just copy this because I do not have the strength to type everything again, and we'll just come here, paste that. The next one is columns. Okay, amount of columns that you want. Change this to columns. As simple as that. Don't forget to add your semicolon. I always forget that. Then we'll come again and change this to symbol. Enter the symbol that you want. Okay, and what is going on here? CIN, C input, basically telling us this is where we're going to put something in. So for this output over here, we're going to be putting our symbol CIN. Okay, so now let us get straight into the business where the real code works in. A nested loop is basically a for loop, a loop inside of a loop. We're going to be using a for loop. Okay, so we're going to say for int I equals to 1. Okay, when I is equals to 1, we want to enter the amount of rows that we want. If you remember our previous code, our um, for loop, over here we said I is basically greater than or equals to 0. But in this one, we're going to be saying I is equals to the amount that we want, that the user is going to want, which is going to be rows. You add your semicolon, and basically, let us say we want to create 4 rows and 4 columns. We're going to do that right now. I'm going to show you. So we say I plus plus. Now you add your curly braces and go to the next line. This is basically a loop inside of a loop. And you say for int. Basically, we can't use I the same time. So something that goes over it is going to be j, which is basically what a lot of people use. J equals to 1, and our j is going to be the column. 4 rows, 4 columns. Let us do 4 rows, 4 columns, okay? But it is for the user to impute. So we're going to say I is equals to columns. Great. And you add your semicolon and j. plus plus. Sorry, this should be J, not I. Always make that mistake. It can't be the same. Okay. Then you add your curly braces again. Go to the next line, and you say STD COUT. I'm sorry, hold on. COUT. Do this for symbol. So what we want them to be space between them. So we'll just add this over here and add our semicolon. Okay. So now we also want space to be created. We don't want everything to be on the same line. We want them to be, over each other, not all on the same line. You understand what I mean? Let me just run the code and you'll see what I mean. Okay, enter amount of rows, 4. Enter amount of columns, 4. Enter the symbol, this. And it took us to infinity. But now let us say we add the it also shows in the example here. Everything is packed together, but let me show you what I mean. So I'm just gonna go ahead and terminate this. How do I do that again? Kill terminal. Okay. Now I'm gonna go ahead and do this. Come over here, and we would say std this, so ut this, and basically we want it to go to the next line, and then we add this. Okay. So let's basically look at everything if it's okay before we run the code. Enter the amount of rows you want, I want 4. Enter the amount of columns you want, I want 4. Enter the symbol, I want this. Why does it still take us to infinity? Okay, I think I have seen the problem. It should be this, less than equals to. Basically saying if I is less than equals to whatever rows, basically saying it should be able to give us any condition, then we should add positives to that. I think that was the issue. I hope. Let me try running the code again. Enter the amount of rows you want, 4. Enter the amount of columns you want, 4. Enter the symbol, this. Yeah, I think that was the issue. Basically, if I turn this to be greater than and this to be greater than as well, this is what will happen. For this. Exactly. Because I is not greater than 4 because our I is 1. So it has to be less than or equals to. Okay? Let's try that again so that you can remember it. It tells us enter the rows. Let's say we want 5 rows. Enter the columns. We want 2 columns. Enter this. We want it to be n. And boom. And that is basically everything you need to know about nested loops.